Zombie games are awesome, and to kick off this list, we're going to start with Left 4 Dead. That's right, some of the best zombie games ever, and Valve's co-op shooter Left 4 Dead is right there in the mix. This fan-favorite game was released in November of 2008 to critical acclaim, mixing the over-the-top zombie shooter violence with co-op gameplay and puzzle solving that actually required you and your teammates to work together in order to make it from Safe Zone to Safe Zone Plus. It had a criminally underrated multiplayer mode as well as a thriving modding community that still exists to this day through Steam. So, to me, this is the perfect way to kick off this zombie list. At number 9, House of the Dead 2. The House of the Dead franchise is one of those franchises that helped make light gun shooters popular in arcades, and when narrowing down the best of the bunch, many fans will tell you it's the second one. Not only is the gameplay very fun with straightforward yet difficult level design and combat, but the voice acting and the writing is so hilariously bad that this zombie game ends up accidentally being one of the funniest video games ever made. Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare takes our number 8 spot today, and this was an expansion for the legendary Red Dead Redemption, which was released in October of 2010, and it mixed the worlds of the Wild West with the zombie survival game in a very unique way. The story was set in an alternate timeline where John Marston, the main game's protagonist, witnesses a horrific zombie virus outbreak in the game's map, and he must set out to find a cure. Zombies and cowboys were two things that nobody really expected to work together, but they ended up blending perfectly, and I personally hope Rockstar gives us a continuation of this expansion sometime after Red Dead Redemption 2 launches. At number 7, we have Dying Light. This was released at a time when everybody was getting sick of zombie games, which resulted in many people actually skipping out. It was a shame though, because Dying Light managed to separate itself from the pack with very unique gameplay and mechanics, including a vast open world and parkour mechanics for both mobility and deeper melee combat. Now, with the sequel being announced this year, I definitely recommend revisiting Dying Light soon if you passed it over when it came out. At number 6, let's go way back. The original Resident Evil. This game was released for the PS1 back in 1996, and it kicked off one of the gaming's biggest franchises. RE had you playing as members of an elite task force who find themselves trapped in a very strange mansion that slowly gets more and more infested with zombies as you have to survive and find a way out. Now, the voice acting was pretty bad. The gameplay was pretty choppy. The game, it's been remade a couple times, and more recent versions play way better, and it shows why this franchise kicked off so massively. At number 5, Dead Rising. You ever wonder what you would do in the event of a zombie outbreak and how exactly you'd defend yourself? Well, Dead Rising allows you to answer that question. This game was released in 2006, and it quickly blew up in popularity thanks to its humor, its very open gameplay, and its unique crafting system at the time. You can kill zombies with pretty much anything in the map, as well as throw together random stuff to create these wacky new weapons to take down hundreds and hundreds of undead. Unfortunately, the series went downhill pretty quickly as the newer games, well, they're not nearly as fun. At number 4, The Last of Us. This survival horror game was released in 2013 for the PS3, and it was re-released on the PS4 the following year, and today, many consider it to be one of the best games ever made. I know they're not zombies, okay, but still, you played as a man named Joel. He's trying to help Ellie. We know the aftermath of a horrific fungal outbreak that turns much of the population into zombie-like creatures. You're not just fighting the zombies though. You're also fighting the surviving humans as the world has warped into this strange battleground as people are desperately trying to survive with what little resources they have left. So it's not technically a zombie game, but it gets a pass. At number 3, Oregon Trail. This underrated indie game was released in early 2011. It was a survival horror parody of the legendary Oregon Trail franchise. Now, Oregon Trail is a text-based series that had a player escorting a group of settlers across North America in the 19th century. Very old game. Oregon Trail, on the other hand, features identical gameplay, but instead it has you taking a group of survivors across North America in a station wagon after the zombie apocalypse. The gameplay of the classic Oregon Trail games is expanded upon. It's just as fun and challenging as you remember it, and the zombie aspect definitely helps raise the stakes even more for a very unique adventure game experience. Telltale's Walking Dead franchise takes the number 2 spot. It's arguably what put them on the map in the gaming industry, as they had only done various movie and TV licensed games before this, but their Walking Dead episodic game started off in April of 2012, and it solidified their place in gaming as the go-to developers for branching narrative-based adventure games. The Walking Dead license is massive, but Telltale's games tell a story unique from the show and the comics and give the player tons of control over what happens, who lives, and who dies. The final entry in the series was released this past month, so go try it out. At number 1 today, we're going to go with Left 4 Dead 2. That's right, finishing off our list is the sequel to the first game that was on our list, Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead 2 was released less than a year after the first game, very quickly if I might say, which caused a bit of controversy as many felt it was going to be rushed or could have been a DLC, but the end product ended up being so good that people didn't care. Left 4 Dead 2 is almost identical to the first game, but it featured way more content, weapons, enemy types, characters, maps, missions, everything. It was juiced. And just like the first game, Left 4 Dead 2 is still very much alive on PC, thanks to its massive modding community that keeps the game fresh and new for years and years after its initial release. I feel it deserves the number 1 spot today. So in the comment section, let me know, what do you think is the best zombie game of all time? My name is Chaos, this has been another episode of Gaming Facts by Gameology, and I'll see you soon.